morning. It's me, back again. Welcome to AstroBeauty for another episode of How Can I Match My Makeup to the Moon Sign? Today, the moon is in Capricorn. And so this is what we're working with. I have already done my face makeup. And today, for the moon in Capricorn, I am trying to be on my more mature, ladylike vibe because Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is the sign of maturity, duty, obligation, being more serious, and generally just being very grounded in reality, practicality, and logic. So for the day, this kind of looks orange, but it's not. It's like a really rust earth tone color. And I am wearing a dress today, and I'm wearing this color because it is like a super earth day. We have the sun in Virgo, a ton of planets in Virgo right now, Venus, Mercury, Mars, and the sun. The moon just went through Virgo for the new moon a few days ago when the moon was in Virgo. And so we have a new moon cycle in Virgo, a bunch of planets in Virgo, and the moon in Capricorn. So it is a super earth day. And when it comes time for Capricorn, it's kind of when we want to buckle down, not have too much excess, and kind of limit ourselves and sort of try to stick to the bare minimums of what we need to get the job done. For me personally, I have kind of set myself a little goal to try to become more mature and ladylike in my womanhood. And so in honor of Capricorn and working towards the goals we set for ourselves, I put myself in this little earth tone dress today with these little structured shoulders for Saturn, the planet of structure and form. And I'm rocking the earth tone vibe just to keep in touch with all of that earth energy out there. So let's talk a little tiny bit more about Capricorn, and then I will talk about my Capricorn makeup look. Now, Capricorn, like I said, it's ruled by the sign of Saturn. Saturn is the ruler of time. For one, I always wear my watch when the moon is in Capricorn. Saturn is the planet of time. It regulates things. It adds structure and form to things. And it is not a free, easygoing energy. It's a very, mature, restrictive, diligent, I need to get responsible type energy. People with a lot of Capricorn and strong Capricorn planets can be very, mature for their age. They can be very work-oriented and, having fun and, pleasure and stuff like that may not play the type of role in their life that it does in other people's lives. And also people with heavy Capricorn influences are always striving for success, striving for recognition. Capricorn rules the 10th house, which is the area of is associated with the 10th house, which is the area of our life where we receive our public recognition, where we perform in the world to kind of get feedback and accolades in terms of what our contribution is. So Capricorn is all about achievement. It's all about doing the hard work, putting in the hard work, and playing maybe later. It is very mature, like I said. People with a lot of Capricorn energy can sometimes come across as having wisdom or experience or being diligent beyond their years. And right now, Capricorn is a really big deal for all of us because it's basically the center stage for one of the biggest transits that is upcoming, that has pretty much occurred in our lives, and that is really going to change the way that we all collectively do kind of life on Earth, and therefore the future of humanity, society, and our planet. And that is with a big conjunction that's coming up between Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn in January of 2020. And we'll talk about that more as we progress towards that point. But from now until then, when the moon goes into Capricorn every month, it is going to be like a trigger point for that conjunction and the energy and the frequencies there. And it is going to be an important time to discuss. People with strong Capricorn energy and Capricorn ascendants, you guys are all playing a role in this. I am sure that you guys are all feeling this Pluto, Saturn, South Node converging, like force, like making major purges and transformations in your lives, and we'll talk about that throughout this video. But that's kind of what I want to say for now. I want to talk about now the AstroBeauty vibe for the day, and that I've already said, like, I'm trying to be more like formal and ladylike and like mature and like sophisticated in the way that I do life. So, I mean, yeah, I'm working on it. And so today with the moon and Saturn, I am playing that role and I am doing my duty towards becoming less crazy. Yes. Okay, so in terms of makeup, I am going kind of minimal today. Saturn, the planet of restrictions, so I'm holding back. I didn't do a cream contour this morning. I only did I went in over it a little bit, but I did like less on my face makeup than I usually do. And I did that in honor of Saturn because, like I said, Saturn restricts things. It kind of like wants you to not be excessive. And so that's what I'm trying to do. So that being said, this is not easy for me, but I am only going to use one palette for my eye look today. And it is going to be this palette because this is the most beautiful palette that I have, and I want it to get a lot of public recognition. Saturn. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to do an eye look, very minimal eye look today with just a couple of shades out of my Barbie palette. I'm going to do a simple black liner. I'm going to do my green tea lengthening mascara, not a super full lash, but a very like long separated gorge lash. And I'm going to do a nude lip, and I'm going to do just a subtle cheek and no highlight today. And it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be mature and sophisticated, and it's going to be restriction from the amount of makeup I usually dip my brush into. Music and makeup probably have a lot more in common than we think they do. So that's basically that. And I'm going to try to talk really quickly without much like nonsense and unnecessary stuff in between, because that's what Saturn would want me to do. So let's see how quick I can make this video today. I need to prime my eyes before I forget. So I'm going to do that. This is my eyeshadow primer from the All Natural Face. I love this stuff. Oh, don't let me forget, I'm an all natural makeup channel. I only use all natural makeup for the most part. I'll use regular makeup on my lashes, like I'll use regular mascaras, and sometimes like a liner. Every once in a while I'll dip into a shadow palette that is not all natural, but for the most part, you're always going to see your girl with all natural makeup brands. Why? Oh, that's right. Because the skin is the biggest organ on our body, and everything that goes on it gets absorbed into our blood and filtered by our organs. And no matter how much we love makeup, it's not worth making our body have chemicals inside of it. So we don't need to, because there's like literally so many amazing companies and so much fun, awesome makeup that doesn't do that. So we're going to use that instead. So that's that. Now, I'm going to explain what I'm going to do so that I can talk about the astrology and not have to interrupt. I'm going to use, let's see, this guy every time. This guy, Role Model, one of my all-time faves. You guys have seen me use that before. And I'm going to use this guy, Fantasy. This shade right here, you can't, yeah, there you go. You can see it a little bit. It looks like it's just like a white micro glitter, but it's not. So my astrology oracle makeup loving friend, she described this in the most amazing way yesterday as like micro glitter in a base of like white, but there's not orange or yellow tones and it pulls more blue. I think that's kind of what she said. And she can see a very extensive range of colors with her magic oracleness. So this is actually a really awesome shade. We were like, what are we going to do? Maybe we need to order an entire extra palette because this is like a collector's edition. Maybe we should order an entire extra palette because what will we do when that one runs out? And then we were like, hey, maybe we'll just make our own. But that's a conversation for a few years in the future. Anyways, so I'm going to use this Role Model and this Fantasy. And honestly, I think that's it. But Saturn. Okay, and then, like I said, I'm going to go over with my Black Pacifica liner. And gosh, what am I even doing? What am I even doing? Moon in Capricorn. You're probably good for me. See, that's the thing with Saturn. Like, it might not be fun and it might not be pleasant, but it's probably good for you. All right, so let's get started. Let's talk about the Moon and Saturn this cycle and how that is playing into that big old conjunction that's coming up. And then we will talk about you, Capricorn ascendants, and how the new moon fell for you, and basically probably what you're going through with this big conjunction, either in your 12th or in your first house. Okay? Okay. So, like I said, actually, I lied. I have to also use this top color from my Pink Nudes palette. Sorry, Saturn, don't be mad. I'm still only using 3 colors. So, okay, Capricorn, like, there's so much to say about Capricorn, like, I don't even know where to start. And I'm doing a short video this video, so I'm gonna miss a lot. So I'm restricted. Imagine that. I'm restricted in what I can say about my Capricorn video. Because of time. This is so hilarious. Because of time, Saturn, and the fact that I am doing a shorter video today to not be too excessive with my makeup. So there is just so much that I want to say, that there is to say to you guys, because you are going through, or you guys are, like, your frequency and reverberation, if you have a lot of strong Capricorn energy, is like receiving insane amounts of power right now. And it's the power of purging the past and things that have not worked for us and held us back and caused us to self-sabotage and operate out of lower, like a lower aspect of ourselves. And y'all are the, like, anchor vibe, the anchor frequency for where this is playing out. So it is like it's happening in your sign. So your energy body is like so attuned to it, okay? So naturally, so I'm going to talk about when the moon goes into Capricorn just during this period while we're leading up to this conjunction. So now I'm going to go in with my role model. So when the moon goes into Capricorn right now, it is conjuncting and making, like touching, conjoining, coming together with the energy of Saturn, your ruling planet, who's at home in its ruling sign and in its most full power, okay? Very, like the Saturn energy is being expressed very powerfully and very clearly because it's in its own realm, it's in its own frequency. So it's like a double, it's like full force of the ability and the frequency that it represents. They're like, there's nothing, for once, there's not too much holding Saturn back, okay? You could say he's got a duty to perform to his full force. My Saturn correlations are just really cracking me up this morning. Okay, so, and then there's Pluto, Lord of the Underworld, bringer of, it's like he's like the phoenix. It's like Pluto takes things and tears them down to build them back up. It's like the great purge. Like we go into the darkness to bring back the light. It's like Persephone's journey. Yeah, I think so. My son loves that story. It's a good story. So, and I guess that's kind of what we're all collectively like. I feel like that's kind of what is going on right now leading up to this Saturn-Pluto conjunction. It's like we've all been in the underworld for so long that we didn't even know it, you know? And now we're all realizing that we've been kind of like just like hypnotized or like in a trance or like in a dream and not really like aware of our full potential and what we truly are and what we truly can be and the power that we really have. You see that? And so now it's kind of like rising to the surface to be like looked at, the darkness to be looked at and cleared out and purged, and then Saturn in its full strength and full force and full like needing to rectify things comes in and reforms and restructures. And that's all happening in your sign, Capricorn, which rules long established orders, like long established forms, like the way things have been for a very, very long time. That's why this conjunction is such a big deal, because it's in Capricorn and because Saturn, Capricorn's ruler, is there. So it's like going in with Pluto, it's like purging things and transforming things that have been in place for a very, very long time. And Saturn is playing a role in reforming, because that's what Saturn does, is restructure things and reform things. And that's what he's doing, and that's what's going on. And then we also have the South Node, which rules kind of like our past behavior patterns and stuff. And the South Node, and opposite the South Node is the North Node. So if the South Node rules our past and like our karma, you might say, but Saturn also rules karma. So there's kind of like a double arrow pointing to the karma that needs to be cleared. And opposite the South Node, always opposite, exactly opposite, is the North Node. And the North Node, if the South Node is like the past, I'm putting this role model all the way around my eye now. If the South Node rules the past and like our learned behaviors and like the experiences that we bring with us and like our karma and stuff, the North Node brings like our destiny point, like what our soul is trying to evolve into. And I honestly feel like that's kind of where we're at right now. We're all kind of going through sort of like a cleaning and a purge and a transformation to help us align and evolve more into our true capacity and our true nature and what we were really, what the purpose of our souls truly is. And this is probably kind of like vague. I feel like I'm not doing a very good job at this point of having a structured presentation, even though I'm trying to be very, Saturn-y. But so that's basically like what I want to say about what's going on in Capricorn right now, is that with Saturn, Pluto, and the South Node in the sign of Capricorn, which is long-standing structures and stuff like that, that Saturn karma, South Node karma, Pluto purging things, cleaning things, looking at the darkness so that we can be rebirthed into something like more true and authentic and better. And Saturn restructures things, reforms things, rebuilds things. And this is happening all collectively for all of us, all over the world. So that's why this conjunction is a big deal. And Capricorns, that's why it's an extra big deal for you, because it's happening in your sign. If you have a lot of planets there, along with these planets, or if you are an ascendant in Capricorn, or if you are, I just love this color. It matches my dress. Like, it's literally like the same color as my Saturn dress for today. Yeah. I'm just going to put a tiny bit more just up, kind of like here. So, yeah. Like, all right, so let's say now, so every month when the moon goes into Capricorn, it meets up with those planets, and the moon is like kind of like a trigger planet. Like, there are a few of them. Mars is one of them. The moon is one of them. And like Saturn is kind of one of them. But when the moon hits a certain spot, because the moon moves so fast, it like sets off the energetic. And the moon represents like our emotions, like our like inner feelings, like our the way our like internal mind works and stuff like that. And so when it goes into Capricorn and it meets up with all of these planets, it's just like, or when it meets up with Saturn and Pluto, it's probably going to be the heaviest time of the month. I mean, moon in Capricorn is probably one of the heaviest moon signs anyways, but especially with Saturn, Pluto in the South Node there, when it goes into Capricorn each month, it is, especially if you are, a Capricorn ascendant or have your moon in Capricorn, or a stellium, if you're a strong Capricorn person, and if you're a Capricorn person, you're probably strong because Saturn endures. So now I'm going to go into this beautiful this beautiful fantasy color right here, and I'm going to just dab off my brush, and then I'm just going to put it right over. So yeah, when the moon goes into your sign right now, oh, it's just so pretty. Perfect. When the moon goes in your sign right now, it is activating, or it's hitting off those energetics and adding a layer of emotionality, feeling, internalness to it. They even smell good. And gosh, that's just so gorgeous. And triggering that energetic area that is like currently activated in those signs. I'm not going to put it around the bottom of my eye. I want to keep that just the role model color. So that's that. Oh, I can't believe it. That's that. No, she needs a tiny bit more under her eye. So when the moon goes into Capricorn every month, it hits those places, and there may be events in your own life or like collectively on the world stage that happen that you can see kind of like brings us a little closer. You know what? I am going to go a tiny bit into this brown color just because for some reason I can't seem to be like done right now. Right. So when the moon goes into Capricorn every month, it might be like triggering things to happen either to us like individually, like depending on where our house placements are, or on like the world stage, like if you look collectively, that are kind of like bringing us closer to, I'm just going to do a tiny, tiny bit of this right above my lash line, that are bringing us slowly closer to the purge and the restructure that we need. I mean, it's not like a thing that happens all at once, you know? Like it's like a gradual process, and it happens, and you may be so subtle that you don't even know really that it's happening. But by the time that it's done, it will be obvious to you that you just do things differently. And like for you guys who are Capricorn ascendants, you're just going to be, it's going to be you, like fundamentally you that is different. Because it's your personality, it's your first house, it's the way you express to the world. And with your ruling planet, Saturn, involved in all of this in your first house, you know, that is like we can say that all of those, because the way that it works, wherever this is playing out for you, that's the part of your life that's getting changed and that's getting cleaned out, purged, and restructured. So wherever it's happening for you is dependent on your house placement, but it is happening. And for you guys, Capricorn ascendants, this is happening either in your, it will most likely be in your first house because it is happening more in the later degrees, but there's a possibility that it could be in your 12th house too. So, all right, now I'm done. Now I'm just going to go over with a tiny bit more fantasy. But most likely it's happening in your first house of you, your physical body, your presence, the way that you like connect physically to the world. And for that to be happening in your first house, it's just like everything about you, just like the way that you, like people see you, the way that you present to the world, and just kind of like the surface, the basic surface of your life. And I've actually seen this play out very clearly in my own life because my brother is a Capricorn ascendant, and he's having his Saturn return right now. Actually, like as we're speaking, Saturn is at 14 degrees, and that's where of Capricorn, and that's where his Saturn is at 14 degrees. And ever since this has started happening, all right, I'm going to get my Pacifica black liner. This. Ever since Saturn has moved into Capricorn and started going through his sign, or his first house, and he also is like an extreme case. Like he is like the example of examples because natally he has Saturn conjunct his ascendant. He's an ascendant at like 11 degrees of Capricorn, and he has, or like 12 degrees, and he has Capricorn or Saturn at 14 degrees. And so that is right conjunct his ascendant in Capricorn. So the dude is an ascendant in Capricorn with Saturn conjunct his ascendant and is having a Saturn return with all of these planets in Capricorn. And ever since it's happened, like I said, He's moved to a new town. He a completely new city, okay, like way all across the country by himself. He had a friend that lived there. He started a completely new job, nothing he'd ever had any experience in his life. He has a different girlfriend, and basically his entire life has changed. His entire self has changed. Everybody that he associates with is different. The entire way he does life is different. And also, in keeping with the Capricorn vibe, like as a person, like he is extremely, extremely, extremely disciplined. Like he's probably one of the most disciplined people that I know, and also probably one of the most frugal and minimalist people that I know. But he is also like an amazing, like he takes like incredible care of his body, and he makes like all the right things a priority. It's very obvious. I mean, he definitely has his hang-ups about things, but it is clear and obvious to me when you look at him that he has a strong Capricorn energy, and he's an ascendant in Capricorn with Saturn conjunct his ascendant. And this purge, the Pluto and the Saturn, I have my liner done now. I love this Pacifica liner. The Pluto and the Saturn, I'm just going to dot a tiny bit in my lash line. The Pluto and the Saturn and the South Node going through his first right now are completely changing. And it's not like it's just like your everyday, like average change. Like this is stuff he has never in his life. It's like really kind of like, it was just a huge out of nowhere, like I'm changing my entire life and my entire person like next week, and this is what we're doing. And he's never looked back since. And I feel like, you know, it's a really good thing for him. But that's just an example that I wanted to use to kind of say, like, if you have this going on in your first house, your entire life, everything about you, everything about and it's Capricorn, so it's long-standing things. Like, this is the first time in my life my brother's ever ventured out really on his own. Like, him and I have always been together, and for the first time ever, I'm here and he's there, and we're not really like, it's just weird, you know, like we're living two completely different lives. Like, he completely recreated his life basically, and he doesn't follow astrology or anything like that at all, so it's nothing like to do with like what I'm saying. It's just clearly a manifestation of the energy. So I just want to say to all of you out there, I need to curl my lashes while I talk. To all of you out there who are Capricorn ascendants, like that's the main thing I want to hammer home in this video, which we'll talk about more. I'll talk about it a lot more as we get close to it. But for you guys, like, just know your entire life could be changing, but it will be for the better, and it will up level you, and it will help you to evolve your soul, and kind of, it's all about going towards the North Node, and the North Node is opposite your sign in Cancer. And if you are an ascendant in Capricorn, new relationships, other people are probably what's going to be like helping you to do that right now. Like with my brother, he had a childhood friend in the city that he moved to, and that was the only person that he knew there. But he has like other people that he's met there, and the connections that he's made there and the networks that he's making there are what is changing his entire life, you know? Like, that's how he got the job, like all of that. And like the networks and relationships, seventh house, that he's building are what's doing it. So for you guys, Capricorn ascendants, the relationships that you're making, other people, are probably at this point being like helping to facilitate the changes that are going on, the big changes and transformations that are going on personally for you in your personal lives. Now, in terms of the new moon, for y'all who are Capricorn ascendants, this would have fallen in either most likely your 8th or your 9th house, depending on how your placement is laid out. If it's falling into your 8th house, like that's how it fell for my brother, then that is all of the energy. And this is kind of in a trine to your ascendant because it's Earth. And all the Earth signs are in aspects of ease to one another. And so you are it falling into your 8th house. That's kind of that's the house of Scorpio. That's the house of like deep psychological like complexes and stuff that are under the surface. So yeah, the 8th house of like deep psychological like complexes and things that are under the surface. It's also like joint like other people's stuff, like resources, like joint resources with other people, and really just like deep penetrative insight into things. And so, all right, I'm gonna go ahead now, get my mascara. So really with all of the planets, if it was in your 8th house, and that's how it felt for my brother's chart, there's probably a lot of energy for you this month. You kind of probably need to look maybe inward. Oh, I just love how this stuff smells. I don't know. Oh, I got it on my nose. I don't even care. Just keep it there and let me smell it. So with it going on in your 8th house, that the new moon in your 8th, that might be like this month spending quite a bit of time in sort of like introspection about things, maybe looking deeply at like some of the issues in your life, like deep psychological, look how good that mascara is. Oh, I love this mascara. Deep psychological like issues, or like the 8th, like things that are kind of like shrouded in darkness, or that maybe have been hidden. Or also, like I said, like joint resources. Those are all Scorpio things. So with all that energy there, and making a trine, ow, oh, ow, I just like stuck it a little too close to my eye. With all that energy there, making a trine to your planets in the 1st house, or your ascendant in the 1st house with Pluto in the South Node and Saturn there, like maybe you need to do some soul searching. Like maybe you need to look deep inside, and for the next 30 days, maybe you like need to look at some of your like undercover issues, or like some of your complexes, or some of just things that are more like the hidden nature of yourself or your life, and bring it to the surface so that it can be helped. I mean, if it's happening in Virgo, this is happening in Virgo, then it's an aspect of ease. It's a facilitating aspect. It's an aspect of help with your 1st house. So this month, what's happening is trying to help you in the process of that transformation that's ongoing for you. And so this month, what's really required, it seems like, is to go inside and to look at maybe things that are hidden, or that you don't look at much, or that are kind of under the surface, and to kind of like examine that and put some energy into that, and maybe like bring it to the forefront so that it can be purged, Pluto, restructured, reformed Saturn, the karma, or whatever that thing, that habit, that complex, the 8th house, the South Node, and then Saturn there in Capricorn to be transformed into the new you. So yeah, it seems like this moon cycle is in Virgo is working to help you guys purge out any like subconscious like patterns that may be like internal and holding you back. Kind of like, you know, the shadow stuff, like the same theme that we keep talking about. But that's really what it's all about for all of us. And just for how it's playing out for you, Capricorns, it really is happening in your like entire life, like your identity. So kind of a big deal. And because of where the new moon fell in Virgo for you, if it did fall into the 8th house, then you probably do need to clear out some of your unconscious or under the surface behavior patterns or deep-seated feelings or like entanglements with other people in order to move forward with your life transformation. So that's that. I am done with my eye look. Now I'm going to do my under eye and etc., my blush and all of that real quick. And if it didn't fall into the 8th house, if it fell into the 9th house, which is technically where it would fall if I was using like looking at things through like an equal chart, this is my Pacifica Liquid Full Coverage Long Lasting Concealer. It's the shade 20NF, which I think stands for Natural Fair. If it fell into your 9th house, then it's all about gaining knowledge. The 9th house, and I feel comfortable speaking on the 9th house because I have a stellium of planets in the 9th house. So the 9th house is like a major thing for me. Like, it's basically how I operate. And so I really have a good understanding of the 9th house. And honestly, it's all just about gaining knowledge. It's just about gaining knowledge. Knowledge of all kinds. Knowledge of cooking, knowledge of quantum physics, knowledge of like race car driving, knowledge of like everything. The 9th house never ever retires or gets bored or annoyed with seeking information. And I can speak to that because that's literally like all I care about and like the like, I don't know, like the purpose of my life or something. I don't know. It's like all I do on a regular basis is just seek information about everything all the time. Not so much information, but like knowledge, you know? So if it is happening in your 9th house, if the new moon was in your 9th house, then you should be getting a good influx of knowledge. You should be learning something or finding something out. It also has to do with like travel and like foreign countries and stuff like that. But I honestly think that's just because when you travel or you're in foreign countries, you are gaining what? Knowledge. And so that's kind of like what it seems to be. And so if it's happening in your 9th house, then it's all about, like I said, if it's happening in your 9th house, then it's all about gaining knowledge and using that knowledge, the knowledge that you gain is what will help lead to transformations for you in your life. All right, now I'm going to take my bamboo setting powder from 100% Pure and just put this right under my eye. Then I'm blended it out, and then I'm going to put some blush on, and I'll be done for today. Okay, oops, this is the wrong brush. Yeah, so as ascendants in Cap, the big thing is what you got going on in your sign there with Saturn and Pluto. But the new moon, if it fell into your 9th house, then it's all about the knowledge that you're gaining, what you're learning, the information that you're getting. And that is what right now during this period of time is what is helping inspire the changes and transformations and purges going on in you personally. All right, now I'm just going to blend this in real quick. Pat it in. And if it's happening in your 8th house, that's a little more complicated, not so straightforward. You probably need to, during this period of time, look at kind of what's under the surface, maybe like your subconscious drives, your entanglements with others that are leading to behaviors that you might need to clear out, purge, and transform so that you can do your new life. Okay, now I'm going to go in with this blush. Again, I'm using the All Natural Face. I'm going to use this shade called Juicy Peach because it literally matches my dress like perfectly. And then, since I'm not using a highlight today because Saturn wants us to, you know, kind of hold back a little bit, and it doesn't need a highlight, I'm going to just use a little bit of the shimmer blush in the shade Touch of Peach on top. And I'm going to put it in this little compact I have, because that's just how I do it. Okay, so that's for you guys who are ascendants. And I'm missing a lot in this video right now. We'll have another opportunity to talk about things like next month and like the month. Oh, crap. I just put way too much. And like the month after that. But for now, that's basically what's going on. I mean, I could go into like Jupiter and Neptune, but those I feel like aren't really like the big things for you guys right now, considering you guys are the ones that have the stuff happening like in your sign, in your first house. And we can talk about other aspects later. All right, so for you guys that have your moon there, it's going to be, you know, intense. The moon, I mean, people with the moon in Capricorn are like generally like more like restricting and like self-controlled and like more about getting the job done, like staying on task. Very mature, methodical, logical, not very like, you know, spontaneous and stuff like that. And with all of those planets, Pluto and Saturn, that is heavy, and that is purging and transforming your emotional body. Like maybe you need to totally like change the way you react emotionally to situations or that you feel about things generally. And it's hard to say because it depends on, again, the house placement. And it depends also like how close your moon is to the things that are happening. But with a moon in Capricorn with the South Node, Pluto, and Saturn, there's a karmic need to purge your emotional, like mental body for some reason, somehow. And that's probably not like an easy, fun, feel good, like, let's like, yeah, that probably doesn't really feel all that great. It's probably not all that comfortable. The moon is like our comfort and security. So having like all of that happening in your realm of comfort and security probably really isn't so much. And for you guys, I would just try to realize that any changes that are happening are going to be for the better. And it's going to be all good in the end. You just got to bear down and get through it. And the same goes for all of you that have a lot of planets in Capricorn or stellium in Capricorn. I mean, that's kind of like the same situation with the ascendant in that my brother has. He has a few planets there too. It's like, it's heavy energy, man. Like, it's heavy and it's probably not fun and it probably feels like a lot of work and not much play. But at the end of the day, once we get through it, you are going to be so much lighter and feeling so much better, like a completely different you on the inside. And that's really what it's about. And like I said, for the moon or for if you have a stellium, it really does depend on the area of life that this is happening for you. But if it is your ascendant, then it's your life. It's your personality. It's your way of interacting with the world. So it's a big deal. And I've seen it happening personally. And I just thought using my brother as an example would be a good way to kind of illustrate how it works. All right, now I'm going to do my lip. I'm going to use, I haven't tried this yet. It's a brand new to me, Mineral Fusion pencil in the color Elegant. I've been wanting this for a while. They just went on sale at Whole Foods, and your girl loves a sale. I wait for Mineral Fusion products to go on sale at Whole Foods to buy them. So I'm going to line my lip real quick, and I can't do that and talk. And then I'll be back. I'll throw on a lip, do a little recap, and that will be it for our Capricorn video. Praise Saturn. So I've done my lip liner. I changed my mind. I was going to use my Mineral Fusion in the color Elegant, but it was just a little too like nude for what I wanted, so I decided to use the Mineral Fusion pencil in Graceful instead, just to get a little more like of a brown color. And then I'm just going to use this Burt's Bees matte crayon. I love these. I have them in every color. This is Sedona Sands, and this is like my go-to nude. And I'm just going to use this. And this will be it. Yeah, so that's that. My makeup is done. I'm just going to spray my face real quick, pat it in. I love this stuff. It's Cherry Matte Setting Spray with hyaluronic acid from Pacifica. And I just love it. I don't have time, Saturn, to like fully get ready and then come back today because I'm starting homeschool this morning and I have duties and obligations of things that I need to be doing as soon as I get done with this video. So I don't have time to go straighten my hair right now, but what I am going to do at some point today is I'm going to straighten my hair and just like part it to the side or down the middle or something, just so I can feel even more like mature and ladylike and sophisticated and streamlined and just in a good form for Saturn. So here's my look for today, you guys. This is my little Saturn, Moon and Saturn outfit. I am wearing like the earthiest of earth colors. It looks kind of orange in there, but it's actually like a clay, like rust color. Saturn is the ruler of time, and I always wear my watch during the moon in Capricorn. I wanted to keep it super toned down and earth vibe today because we are in the Venus new moon cycle and there's tons of planets in Virgo right now, and with the Capricorn moon, like we are all earthed out, and so that's what's going on. I'm wearing this like little more like structured like form-ish dress because Saturn forms structures, and I am kind of trying to hold myself today as Saturn is in Capricorn, or as the moon is in Capricorn, to the standard that I'm trying to achieve, which is to be a little more ladylike and a little less cray-cray. So that is why I'm wearing this. I did for my makeup, I only used one palette because I wanted to refrain myself and hold back a little bit. And so I stayed in the Barbie palette. I used well, no, that's not true. I used one shade out of my Pink Nudes palette as a base. And then I used the Role Model color all over my lid. I topped it with Fantasy, and then I did just a tiny line of Vintage across the lash line. Slapped on a black liner from Pacifica, did a tiny little wing, and curled my lashes, threw on my black tea mascara from 100% Pure, which smells so good, and I just love that stuff. And I even toned down my face makeup today. I wore a little less than I usually do, Saturn, and I just threw on a peach blush, no highlight, and a nude lip, and that's what we're doing for today. Trying to be more minimalistic, trying to be more mature, more sophisticated, and very just like clean, precise, and to the point. So that's my look for the moon in Capricorn today. All of you Capricorn people out there, whether it be your ascendant, your moon, or you have a lot of planets there, you guys are going through like the most fundamental changes and restructurings pretty much of anybody with Pluto, Saturn, and the South Node in your sign. It's time to get rid of stuff from the past, clear it out so that you can be built anew. And if it's in your ascendant, it literally is you that's being built anew. And with the North Node in Cancer, a lot of those changes might come, or a lot of like with the North Node in Cancer, other people might be the people that are helping you to make those fundamental changes to align more with where you need to be and release the past and move forward. And if you are an ascendant in Capricorn, then that means that the new moon in Virgo fell in either your 8th or your 9th house. So it means for you the themes of this month in moving towards that purge and restructure and clearing in order to be the best version of yourself are going to come either in terms of really looking at your psychological patterns and, you know, your instincts and your undercurrents and maybe your entanglements with others, and kind of trying to like sort through that and use that to help you change and become make the changes that you need to realign yourself with what you truly are supposed to be doing here. Or if it fell into the 9th house, then the knowledge that you gain, the wisdom that you gain, the understandings that you come to, and what you learn during this time are most likely what is going to be playing the role in transforming you on the fundamental level so that you can clear out things from the past that you no longer need, purge it, clean it, and reform it and restructure into the best new version of you. So that's my video on Capricorn for today. I try to keep it short, sweet, and to the point in the true nature of Capricorn and not have too much excess, trying to be very like dutiful in my minimalism for this video. So I really like the makeup look I came up with anyways, and I'm going to go about my Capricorn day, and I hope I see you guys next time for the moon in Aquarius. Hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, and I'll see you guys next time. AstroBeauty, out.